There we go. Well, look, welcome everyone to Source Presents. I'm obviously Johnny. Today I've got an awesome guest. I've got Jodie Grant with me today. She's going to sort of run us through her story, her background, and a little bit about her. In terms of the topic today, so from job to joy, finding and connecting passion within your workspace. I'm going to pass it over to you, Jodie. Tell us a little bit about who you are and sort of your story so far.
Uh, Firstly, hello. So yeah, I'm Jodie. I work for Karma Kitchen at the moment, which is basically commercial kitchens across London, which help foodie businesses, either through delivery kitchens or by providing like central production units across London. So yeah, so basically, I'm very much in the foodie world. My previous role was with Deliveroo, and before that, I worked for an ice cream company. But I've always been in sales, so yeah.
Awesome. And so I guess sort of like first initial like points to sort of contact. In terms of sales, where did that initial love for sales start? What brought that up in your life? Obviously being a massive foodie, and also how did you manage to incorporate that within your work life now?
Yeah, so basically, I kind of fell into sales in a way. I basically studied a master's in nutrition at Leeds. At the end of that, I did a 3 day really intense grad scheme with these people called Young Foodies, which is funny. So basically, at the end of that, they give you like a few interviews with like foodie brands, startup brands. One of those brands was Northern Block ice cream. Um, and basically, I had an interview with them, and I was going for the marketing role because I was really into branding and just like seeing the Instagram side of a business and all of that. But as soon as I interviewed, they were like, "No, you're definitely sales." So yeah, so basically, it's kind of started from that. They just like saw something in me, and yeah, kind of progressed with time into the role I'm in right now. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I know that you mentioned there in terms of you still have a bit of marketing. You've got obviously a massive sort of like social following as well. I know that's something you're really passionate about. In terms of that sort of social following, tell us a little bit more about that. I know you're quite big on Instagram. I know you enjoy sort of food posts.
Yeah, so basically I've always like thought it's super important to have something on the side as well as like your work life that you genuinely love and like
Yeah.
can put your own time into. So as well as like absolutely loving the gym and that being like my me time, I also love creating content. And just like I think as like an extracurricular thing, just engaging within the world that you're really genuinely passionate about, whether it's your hobby, whether it's food, and just having that as an outlet to express yourself is like so important to just find that work-life balance. It's like what genuinely makes me happy, just to like create content, like, and also meet other likewise like-minded people. So like I've met so many friends just within the foodie world, like, and it's crazy how you can connect just through social media. So
Yeah,
yeah.
100%. And so sort of on the fitness trail there, like I'm massively into my fitness as well. How have you found, I guess, incorporating like a good healthy lifestyle as well as sort of being in sales? Has that been really beneficial to you? Have you noticed any, I guess, like immediate or maybe long-term changes that have helped you?
Yeah, I mean, I need the gym as my like
Yeah.
de-stressor, as my like switch off. Like I love the fact that you literally have like an hour to yourself to just like fully focus on just like the workout you're doing and just like stop looking at emails and just dedicate that to you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's really important to be able to switch off, whether that's just like yoga or reading or anything like that, but just to give yourself that, because like I think you can become overwhelmed by so many things going on, but just having that you time. And like also I think like the gym in itself and like weightlifting, it sounds so cheesy, but just like challenging yourself to push yourself to rep more weights, to do like more challenging lifts and stuff, you
Yeah.
get in the mental mindset of like I can challenge myself to do that, so like you can put that towards work as well and be like I can lift that weight so I can do this challenge at work. And it's just like giving yourself that confidence to succeed. So I think it's just linking that in all aspects of your life, to be honest.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think
Yeah.
someone that sort of lives with a healthy lifestyle, keeps active, keeps sociable as well, like that can only correspond to good things within your career. And that's definitely sort of a clear thing that is where there with your profile. Obviously from interviewing you myself, I know that you're a high achiever. I guess in terms of like passion for the industry, where can you see yourself like going in a matter of years? Like, do you think the food industry, are you going to try and like revolutionize that? Are you coming up with any new ideas yourself? I guess like where do you see your passion within the industry going?
Honestly, I am very happy where I currently am. Like, I've really enjoyed the journey of becoming a better salesperson and
Yeah,
seeing where that takes me within the food industry, like starting out as just selling a single product and then going to Deliveroo and meeting all these clients that are obviously like working at restaurants all over different cuisines and having that as like a broader kind of sales thing, and then
yeah,
coming back down and again working with bigger brands but more fine-tuning my pitch. I'm just enjoying that journey more than anything, of like seeing how I can be challenged within a sales role.
yeah,
Yeah, I think more than anything, being in the food industry, especially in such a kind of stressful and challenging time at the moment, being able to kind of help a business, help it grow, help it with its operations, that's what makes me wake up and enjoy my job in the morning. That's what like I want to do. I want to be a part of it in a positive way. And that's why I enjoy what I'm doing so much, to be honest. So
yeah.
happy where I am and just excited to see where it takes me right now.
And so I guess like the sort of flip side of that, if you were in another industry, do you think you'd reach the same heights of success that you have already, or not?
I think I am just a hard worker to the core. So I think
Yeah,
whatever job I was in, I'd give it my all. But I think it's more the enjoyment factor, like pairing like a hard work ethic with the actual enjoyment and passion is what leads to like actual satisfaction and happiness. So I think I'd still work hard, but I wouldn't necessarily be happy.
yeah.
So yeah, I think that's probably.
Okay, awesome. And so I guess like in terms of like interests and passions, some people prefer to balance the two. Some prefer, for example, money motivators, or would you rather work somewhere that you actually enjoy? I guess what's most important to you, because of course you've managed to incorporate both throughout your career so far, which is awesome.
Mhm.
Is there a favorite for you there? Would you rather have chase the money, or would you rather have somewhere that you actually enjoy being there every day?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm not gonna lie, like feeling financially stable,
Yeah.
like obviously is good for your mental like well-being.
Yes.
But above all, I know that being happy, having a great team around me, and feeling genuinely motivated by what I'm doing is what actually makes me want to wake up in the morning and go to work. The
Yeah.
money side is literally like so insignificant. Like I really don't think money is happiness. It's your day to day, who you're around, what you're doing, who you're inspiring. Like that's what work should be. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think yeah.
Awesome. And so like does that like I just guess does that like come from you? Like is there anyone else, I guess, within your sort of friendship groups or networks that are like you? Like I know you mentioned before about sort of going to events and everything like that. Does that come from anywhere? That where I guess where does that love for like passion and like food, where does that all come from?
Well, my kind of story as to where my love for food came from, it's a little bit of a long one and a bit of a all over the place one, to be honest. But
Okay.
basically, I did my undergrad in biology, so I was gonna become a scientist. So I did a placement year during my undergrad at a cancer research lab in
Okay.
Vienna. Basically during which time became very unhappy and I did get an eating disorder, and it was a really horrendous time, mentally, everything, like really scary looking back, to be honest. But coming out of that and recovering and rebuilding my relationship with food really, really flipped my whole mindset, like literally a 180. And I started to want to A, like help people who had struggled like me, and B, like really educate myself on the industry, on food, on how we should enjoy food and like find our love for food again, because it really does bring joy. So yeah, that kind of flip of a mindset led me to study my master's in nutrition. And that's where the food industry kind of took me and started to love brands, really find joy in food. And that's just kind of followed me on this journey of obviously you can see I'm naturally excited by it, and people can see that whenever I'm selling a product or getting engaged about their business, it's just come hand in hand, like my inner need to like show love for brands and
Yeah.
like get excited about them has led me to the sales roles and excelling in them. So it's from a natural place of like love, which I think shows probably in my pictures. So yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, look, I'm so happy that you sort of you hit that barrier. It looks like you've got over that barrier. That shows some real mental strength. In terms of like that sort of like mental strength and I guess like how you look at things now, do you do anything outside of work? Do you do any like extra curriculum things that help you focus on mindset and like learning and development or anything like that?
I think more than anything, it is surrounding myself with like-minded people.
Yeah,
Like I still have friends from my nutrition masters who are also in the food industry, and it's just like engaging with people on a similar path with a
yeah,
similar mindset, all just like really pushing for like innovation and all things like that. It's just really engaging yourself with like-minded people. Also,
yeah,
like going to expos, like foodie expos, and just seeing what the new products are. Like it's like an absolute like heaven to me when I go there and I see people that get equally as excited by food as I do, and just seeing the new products in the market. So I think just like being a yes person as
yeah,
much as you possibly can be. Just put yourself out there and just like I feel like there's so many times where it's just the interview and just the talking and the engaging and the networking that's actually got me to where I am rather than like say like grades and stuff. So I
yeah.
just say put yourself out there, be you, and don't shy away from like your personality because that's what's gonna like make you different to everyone else, kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. I think sort of like networking and getting out there and meeting new people is
Absolutely.
almost as essential as like other key things that people do within sales. Of course, there's famous quotes, you know, your network is your net worth. I do think that there is definitely some truth behind that. Is there any, I guess, that sort of networking events or anything like within that sort of food hospitality space that you know of that are like shout it out loud, like I'll note them down for people, whoever's listening to go to those ones that are like really worth going to.
I did casual dining a few times, and at the Big XL, that was incredible. So many
Yeah.
brands there because they do like it's both casual dining and lunch, I think it's called at the same time
Okay.
within the whole big arena. That was incredible. I also went to the Plant-Based Expo last year, and again, just seeing like the innovation in the vegan world because the ice cream company I worked for had a really good vegan range. So it was like seeing that and seeing it take off, it really, really got my attention. I think we're also going to like the jam and bread, might be called that. I hope I've got that right. That's going to be sometime soon with work as well. So I'm really excited. But I think they are the main things to
Yeah.
just really, really go to. And it's just exciting and it's different and it's just cool to see other people in the same world as you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do want to give a little shout out to my old manager from my ice cream job. Just on the topic of like networking and like how to sell, he used to always say the quote like people buy from people, and that stuck with me. So just like don't be that atypical like don't be the typical salesperson that just like schmoozes. Like be yourself, use your personality, and just talk to them like they're another person. Like they are literally another person. Like get to know them for them, and that's literally really always in my head whenever I'm pitching. So yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And like people buy from people is so true. I know a lot of people probably don't like the phrase because it's so like cliche. But that like human element, like you can't replace that at all.
Mhm.
Awesome. And so like sort of moving on to sort of your career as well. So in sales, what advice would you give to anyone who's starting out in their career? So maybe someone who hasn't actually got any sales experience, or maybe they're really early on within that journey. What advice would you give to someone to, I guess, one, make sure that space is right for them in terms of passion, they're happy to work in that space, and also if you've got any other sort of advice or tips that you'd give to someone.
Mhm. I'd say do a deep dive of the product. Obviously, if you're going to be selling it, you need to really love that product. And also, I'd really want to flag like a few of my jobs have been working from home and being very far away from the actual team itself. And at
Yeah,
the time, I just was strong and like kept a smiley face on. But now that I work mainly office with a team, I can't tell you how much it has positively affected my mental health.
yeah,
So, I mean, it all depends on your character, but I would always opt for an office team base just because, again, in this kind of role, collaborative thinking and being able to bounce off people's ideas, seeing what like methods of outreach work well, and just being able to discuss that face to face is an element of sales I've never had properly. And now that I have it, I've just fallen in love with the role so much more. So
yeah,
yeah, make sure every aspect is fine tuned to like what will actually make you happy. And don't get like obsessive about the pay, because at the end of the day, your happiness is going to be what you're selling, who your team are, what you're doing, and the difference you're making on a day-to-day. So I definitely evaluate all aspects of that before just being like, oh, the pay's good, because it's literally not going to make you happy at the end of the day. So yeah.
100%. And so sort of like hybrid working from home, that's a massive point. I'm also a firm believer in sort of going into the office, culture-based environments. Is there, I guess, would you say there is anything in particular in terms of that? Like when you look for that, what exactly does a good culture mean to you? What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's an element of trust and being able to like be trusted that you're doing the work, that you're working your hardest, and that you can have personal responsibility to go above and beyond, and like are encouraged to do that. So in my current role, we've been given like side projects and other ways to grow that might not have been thought of through like strategy sessions. So it's like just having that outlet to be creative. Like I think that's a really good thing about having a small team as well. Having a small team that can collaboratively come together is definitely like something that helps you kind of excel for sure. So yeah, I actually forgot what your question was, so I went off on a tangent there.
It's okay, no problem at all, no problem at all. Sort of in terms of like what great culture like really means to you. So like those like key points. I guess, is there any key points that you look for in particular for a great culture? That might be activity days out with the team. That might be additional sort of benefits that they add into the team. Like I guess like what are those key things that you actually look for?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say one thing about working here, you can be completely yourself. Like there's no judgment, and everyone is just able to express themselves, dress casually, which is like a huge thing as well, and just completely be yourself. There's no fakeness. It's just like I can be me, and that feels great. And everyone says hi when you come in and bye when you leave, and how's your weekend, and just little bits like that, which again sounds like nothing, but if you work from home like I have, these are bits that make me so happy. And also free work lunch, 10 out of 10. So shout out to that.
What are the lunches like? What sort of on the menu there?
Delicious things. So yeah, basically, Karma Kitchen have a sister company which they kind of started out with prior to Karma Kitchen, which is Karma Cans, which do incredible catering dishes for offices and all corporate catering events and stuff. So yeah, it's like very healthy, vibrant, delicious dishes. So I definitely recommend to anyone in an office that needs some good food.
Awesome. And so I know that obviously like in terms of you're doing really well at the moment, sort of or like target wise, anything like that. In terms of like customer success stories and sort of like where your passion for food has contributed like towards that sale, has that ever been the case? You may have a couple of these, so if you do have, it'd be great to hear about. But I guess, has your passion directly impacted your sales numbers with your customers?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to name drop directly, but there's a couple of examples whereby I've either reached out, say, on LinkedIn or on Instagram through the Instagram account.
Yeah.
Initially kind of introduced the brand and said how much I love the restaurant chain for what they're doing and how much I genuinely do love their food and their ethos and their journey and how they've grown. From the back of that, it's always making like a face-to-face and just like engaging with them, not just going straight in with the pitch, but understanding them, understanding their needs, understanding how they want to grow and just them as a person. And I feel like just having that initial relationship building moment, but like there's like several occasions where I've genuinely, as the companies I've changed like new jobs, I've kept that relationship and still to this day will like catch up with them. They now recommend Karma Kitchen to like their friends that need services that we provide and stuff. I've popped in for like coffees and stuff. So I think it's just building that relationship off the core of you like caring about them and their business more than even the product that you're selling. And it's really enjoyable as well to like be friends with someone, and that's work. Like, so yeah, I'd say that's a really good part of sales and how it should be, rather than it just being like corporate and over the phone, and also just like meet the person and make it fun. So yeah, I love that part.
Exactly that. And so like that is massively important. Like I think like leaving that impact and adding value to a company is so important on a personal basis as well. Because of course you can make a sale and that's fine. But if you actually build relationships there, that's where the main benefits come in for the future. And sort of like, so just touching back on your Instagram as again, in terms of sort of like personalization and like keeping active and keeping public, I guess what are sort of the key benefits that you've seen for that? Has your Instagram page, as an example, actually brought in any positives for you, like work-wise and performance-wise? Like, has that actually impacted your performance so far or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, just the fact that a lot of the Instagram content I create is kind of restaurant recommendations or cool like product brands that really want to engage and want a bit of
Yeah.
content made for them, which I love creating. I think
Yeah.
it just makes trust and builds like an alliance of I'm not just trying to sell you something. I love what you're actually doing and
Yeah.
let me kind of give back to you as well as you kind of buying into what I'm doing. So yeah, I think because I do reach out to quite a lot of brands just from my Instagram, like my personal one, and them
Yeah.
just seeing what I'm doing, I think has been very positive at actually getting responses. So there was basically a meal prep brand who have recently sent me like a weekly box of their incredible dishes, and I'm currently making a reel for them kind of thing. And they like are like maybe down the line they'll want kitchen space and stuff. So it's like it's just an interesting element to just have Instagram not just on a personal level, but to have
Yeah.
it for work. So it just like unites both of my interests in one. So yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely say if you're thinking about it, just make an Instagram, make a social media profile, and just like show off what you enjoy and just create that content because it just genuinely feel good. It's like a public diary that you can just
Yeah.
be creative with. So yeah, I
Yeah.
love it. Yeah.
Awesome. And so like, I know sort of within the space at the moment, people that talk about like personal branding and how that's really important. I know that a lot of people sort of getting into sales, people that have a profile that have a big branding anyway, can obviously give massive benefits in the long term because it already gives you that face to reach out to. You sort of already know that person and everything
Yeah.
like that. So yeah, no, 100%, I definitely agree. I guess so. I guess in terms for you, is there anything on your end that you're really excited about within that sort of like food slash hospitality space in particular? Is there any, I guess, like any new ideas or anything that you think people should be doing more within your space?
I think right now, obviously, it's a very, very challenging time. So I'm most excited about post this whole crazy, depressing element of the industry and just seeing how we flourish off the back of that and seeing kind of the brands that deal with like tough times and how they survive that. It's all, I guess, adaptability around that. So yeah, I'd say it's all exciting. Like as a company right now as well at Farmer Kitchen, we're expanding to new sites across London. So it's going to be engaging with new people, new sites, and just seeing kind of what businesses are going to come about. But I think I am really excited about meal prep in itself, to be honest, as like a fundamental business kind of proposition.
Yeah.
Just because I think like even just trying it for the past week, I think the ease of that, the creativity of the business, and being able to like save time but still be like super nutritious and stuff. I think
Yeah.
as an element, we've seen a lot of growth around it. So I'm excited to see where that can lead.
Yeah.
And yeah, yeah, it's all very exciting to be honest.
Amazing. And, I know that we've sort of like covered off a lot of things here today.
Yeah.
Is there anything on your end that you'd like to bring up, you'd like to tell people about, and maybe about yourself or maybe about the industry as in general?
What would I like to say? I'm not really sure. I don't know. I'd say just kind of follow your passion of what makes you genuinely happy. Um, and also like don't be afraid to kind of change course and really reflect on what you're doing and be like, am I actually happy right now? Like with the whole working from home thing, like I probably put a brave face on. And now I'm just know that me and myself, I'm so much happier. So it's really just kind of you don't have to be brave all the time. Really like reality check yourself and be like, am I genuinely enjoying this? Is this like bettering my life? Is this where I want to progress?
Yeah.
And I'd say that kind of is what I wish I'd have kind of told myself previously. But yeah, hopefully that helps somebody out there.
100%. I'm sure there's people listening, and of course, we'll sort of clip up and post all this content everywhere on LinkedIn. I really appreciate your time today, Jodie. It's been awesome catching up. As I said, everyone feel free to sort of check out Jodie's LinkedIn.